Hello, hello, hello. We're by the Christmas tree. I know you guys love the garden videos, and maybe I'll do some while I'm here, but we're by the Christmas tree today. I got home a little bit too late to film outside. I'm Adrian, by the way, and welcome to the weekend recap. I hope you're doing well this December. I hope you're excited for some family time. And guys, we have a new product, a new sponsor that you may be interested in if you're into fantasy football. It's called SPITCH. Previously only available in Germany and some other countries. It is now launching in the UK and Ireland for anyone over the age of 18. And my goodness, is it ever a fun way of playing fantasy football live as the matches happen. And you can even win some cash prizes, man. SPITCH really is the ultimate fantasy football app in that it's licensed by plenty of competitions from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, the Champions League, and more. All you got to do is choose your team, choose your captain, choose the pitch you want to play on, and compete against your friends and people all over the world live in order to win cash prizes. As players score goals, get assists, etc., they accumulate points for you. And also, SPITCH will be making your holidays merry and bright with a free pitch on Boxing Day, as well as the chances to win all sorts of prizes like AirPods, PlayStation gift cards, signed football merchandise, and much, much more. So use the link in the description to download SPITCH now for free and get amongst it. Win some stuff, my man. Thanks for supporting us, SPITCH, and best of luck for those of you brave enough to compete. I'll see you in there. Tons and tons of cancellations in England as COVID begins to retake its grip on, the world, really. I'm still in denial that we're heading towards further and further restrictions, but it looks like we're heading that direction for now. And we saw it in England via 5 matches getting postponed due to COVID outbreaks amongst the squads of these clubs in question. The sole match that was played in the Premier League on Saturday was between Arsenal and Leeds, as Leeds came into this one fresh off of their incredibly embarrassing performance against Manchester City midweek. 7-0 loss there. Up against Arsenal, it wasn't as bad with a 4-1 loss, with the way that Arsenal was able to just pass right through their midfield at times, pick apart their defense, or capitalize on mistakes at the back. My God, it was almost like self-sabotage from Leeds, as has been the trend for most of their season at this point. I know they have a lot of injuries, but still, it's not good enough. It's a bit worrying for Leeds as well, considering their defense has never really been the key to their success, as their attack would bail them out. But when that isn't firing, then you get, 16 points from 18 matches, just 5 above the relegation places. As for Arsenal, there are some great fluid movements in their attack as they punished Leeds with every mistake. Their passing was looking great. Martinelli's finishing was in fine form once again as he scored a brace here. And that's been in general just in great form. Chelsea were missing Timo Werner, Lukaku, and Havertz for their match away to Wolves at Molineux on Sunday, and it showed in the attack. Big time. But it wasn't just the attack that was out of sorts, as Chelsea in general are in a bit of a bad bit of form right now. While they improved slightly in the second half, it was overall a forgettable match for them. Pulisic, Mount, and Ziyech as a front line is not so threatening to the back 5 of Wolves, especially when they're throwing crosses into those guys. While some loose passing at the back for Chelsea nearly gave Wolves some opportunities. If not for their poor final ball, they maybe could have stolen a goal. 0-0, 1 shot on target for Chelsea in this one. That's got to be a worry for Tuchel. Manchester City continued to ease to some good results as they went to Newcastle and walked away with a 4-0 win. Pretty light work, though there was a moment where City were lucky to get away with a penalty call as Ederson looked to have conceded one, but hey, nothing given on this occasion. Ruben Dias scored a bit of a funny goal before João Cancelo doubled City's lead. In the second half, some great play from Zinchenko as he curled the ball into the box for Riyad Mahrez to slam home the form that Mahrez has been in lately. His finishing in particular has been some of the best I've seen from him. He's on track to absolutely smash his goals record this season. Only a couple of goals away, and we're just halfway through the season, by the way. City have now set the record for the most Premier League wins in a calendar year at 34, so shout out to them. Tottenham and Liverpool had some brutal officiating at times, but my word, was it ever a thoroughly entertaining match. Liverpool's defense was all over the place with no Van Dijk at the back. Time and time again, Tottenham would get in behind or find themselves in 2v2 situations, only to be wasteful with their opportunities. Looking at Son, Kane, Dele Alli, all of them. One of the players that was wasteful was Kane, as mentioned, but to his credit, he did convert to give Tottenham the lead in the first half, only for Jota to equalize with yet another header later in the half. The 5'10" assassin, the marksman, the target man. Jota also should have had a penalty, to be honest, when Emerson went through, barging through his back and absolutely got none of the ball. Clumsy stuff, and they're often given for that, but not on this occasion, so a bit of a lucky boy. And we also saw Kane go studs up on Robertson and get none of the ball, but no red when it was a stonewall red for me. I mean, we saw Pogba get sent off against Liverpool for a similar tackle, so why not Kane? 1-1 after the first half, plenty of missed opportunities for Tottenham, Son in particular, with some glaring misses throughout this match. Dele Alli was also poor, as he could have potentially found some form with 2 opportunities he failed to convert, one of which he went down when he made a mess of his control. Liverpool went in the other direction and scored via Robertson. Hand from Salah in the lead up, but remember folks, they changed the rule regarding handballs in the lead up to a goal. That's the way it goes, man, and Robertson goes for an early shower every time when he pulls off the stupidity he pulled off with that excessive attempt at a tackle on Emerson Royale. It wasn't even a tackle, really. He just clattered him. He knew exactly what he's doing. Thwacked the guy, none of the ball. And people always forget, excessive force is one of the boxes that a referee will look to when considering if it is red card worthy, and it absolutely was excessive force. As I tweeted, the duality of Alisson was ever present today. A few mistakes, none of them fatal until he flew over the ball with his attempted clearance, leaving it to Son to roll it into an empty goal. He made fantastic saves and ridiculous mistakes, all within the 90 minutes. So 2-2 the final. A thrilling match. It was a lot of fun, despite the bad officiating at times. And so going into Christmas, Man City will continue on as leaders, 3 points ahead of Liverpool and now 6 ahead of Chelsea. Arsenal, look at him now, sitting pretty in 4th place. Robert Lewandowski broke another record. Shock! This time against Wolfsburg, a team he loves scoring against. He broke the record for the most goals scored in a calendar year from a Bundesliga player at 43 in 2021 alone, breaking Gerd Muller's former record that had stood for 49 years since 1972. That's wild stuff. That goal from Lewandowski came at the end of the match, by the way, and made it 4-0 Bayern at that point. Thomas Müller was celebrating his 400th appearance in the Bundesliga, and he celebrated in the only way he knows how, a goal and yet another assist, his 13th of the season. Sané with the other goal, and Upamecano with his first goal for Bayern in what was probably his best performance for them yet. Not the best performance ever for Dortmund this weekend. Yet another disappointing result for them as their defense continues to be their Achilles heel. But just in general, Dortmund looked poor against Hertha, so it wasn't a performance to remember for Marco Rose. Playing away in Berlin, Julian Brandt's goal in the 31st was one of the small highlights for Dortmund in this game. He's been in probably his best form since joining Dortmund. He's been involved in at least 1 goal in each of his last 5 appearances, but from 1-0 up, they found themselves 3-1 down in a matter of 18 minutes in the second half. Yes, they added another late on to make the scoreline look a little more respectable, but it's crazy to me that this club has had issues in defense for so damn long, and no manager is capable of fixing it, apparently. We'll have to get Josh from JJD TV in here and Unsackable Podcast, which I'm on as well, to talk about Dortmund this week, because it's a bit of a wild time, isn't it? The focus always seems to be on elite attacking prospects like Adeyemi. Maybe take a couple of windows to focus on the defensive side of things. Apparently, that's incoming, with some rumors linking them to Schlotterbeck and Zakaria, but more investment in that back line is absolutely needed. Anyways, Eintracht Frankfurt's fine form continued this weekend as they beat Mainz 1-0, and Oliver Glasner has got them to, gain a little bit of momentum here, which we love to see. They were so far behind Wolfsburg early doors. Now they are 7 points clear of them and 8 places higher. I bring up Wolfsburg because that's Glasner's former club, of course. One of the only major managerial changes that has worked in the Bundesliga is Glasner, besides Nagelsmann, of course, but that's sort of a foregone conclusion. Well, not necessarily. Kovac wasn't, was he? Nagelsmann's former side fell to Arminia Bielefeld this weekend, a match that both players, club, and supporters will want to forget. 2-0 loss at home against the 17th place side. Oh my God, that's terrible. But shout out Bielefeld in 17th and not giving up. Relegation fight to be sure. It's going to be an absolute mosh pit, but it's going to be fun to watch. Union Berlin got back to winning this weekend away to VfL Bochum as Max Kruse's first half strike put them in the driver's seat for that one, and they held on in typical Union style, defended well for the rest of the match, and got the result. Bayer Leverkusen's poor run of matches continued this weekend as they were tasked with a very tough job of going away to SC Freiburg. Well, formerly a very tough task, as Freiburg haven't been as spectacular since changing their home stadium in October. They lost their last 2 matches at the stadium, by the way, but Bayer Leverkusen provided them with some joy. They had to work for it, though, as a Kevin Schlad goal in the 84th minute gave them the win, their first in 3 matches, but they are sticking around in third at the end of the first half of this season. Bayern are the winter champions as they lead by 9 points now. Your favorite underdogs, Rayo Vallecano, roll on, man. This past weekend, they hosted Deportivo Alaves and Vallecas and beat them 2-0. Also, it's great to see how Unai Emery has finally shaken off the rust from this Villarreal side, and they are absolutely thriving now. 5 wins from their last 6 matches as they beat Real Sociedad 3-1 away. A win like that at the Anoeta is quite the achievement, aided in some way by Mikel Oyarzabal's 49th minute red, of course. It was a fairly even contest until that point, with Villarreal still probably the better team, to be honest with you, but still. Moreno with a brace, which were only his 3rd and 4th goals of the season, as he has dealt with some injuries this season. Another guy who was injured for a while prior to the season, Samuel Chukwueze. Gavi was at the heart of Barcelona's win over Elche at Camp Nou. It was a win that was nearly a draw, even though it never should have been. But Barca and finishing at this moment, just not a great pairing, are they? Anyway, Gavi got a goal, a fantastic goal, and assisted what was the winner from Nico Gonzalez, as the kids are doing great for Xavi. In fact, the opener was scored by Ferran, scoring his first goal in what was his first ever start for Barcelona. He nearly had 2 goals as well. There's clearly a long way to go for Barcelona, but I've always said that a focus on La Masia, especially with their financial issues, should be the way forward for them. A sort of a win-win. Spend less and get good players. I mean, it's a return to their identity, the thing that made them successful. The talent is plain to see there. They just needed opportunities, and they're getting them under Xavi. Another big game for Atletico Madrid in La Liga, and another loss for them. This time they went away to the Sanchez Pizjuan in Seville to take on one of the fellow big dogs in La Liga, and they fell once again. This Atletico team is weird, and in some ways, you see people wonder if they are struggling because they are getting away from what made them so successful in the past. That the wealth of, attacking options, creative options for Simeone don't really fit the profile that he wants. Now, of course, they won the league last season, so it's hard to say that definitively, but this season, with the return of Griezmann, the signing of DePaul, Cunha, etc., the defense is not the same and clearly out of form. Namely Jan Oblak, who is typically incredible. They just aren't themselves in general, and it's coming off in their results. The winner came late for Sevilla from Lucas Ocampos, and it ensured that for the first time ever under Simeone, Atletico Madrid have lost 3 consecutive matches in La Liga. And with Real Madrid being held to a draw, they still hold on to first, of course, given this big lead. Look at Rayo Vallecano go, though, man. These guys are flying. Over in Italy, Maurizio Sarri's Lazio were propelled by Luis Alberto to a 3-0 lead. The midfielder's delivery was on fire this match, grabbing a brace of assists in the second half to make sure Genoa were dead and buried, despite a late strike from Malagoni that breathed some life into the scoreline, but it was, easy in the end for Lazio. Speaking of dead and buried, Salernitana are heading in that direction as they sit dead last in the table, and Inter spared them any sort of pity this weekend with their 5-0 drubbing of the Minnows. The great performances from Hakan Çalhanoğlu continue for Inter as he got a brace of assists on a day where massive praise for Inter will seem a bit weird given their opponent, but hey, they really are performing at a great level under Inzaghi at the moment. Their football is a little more dynamic and easy on the eyes compared to last season. They're fun to watch. Alvaro Morata put in a solid performance for Juventus as they beat Bologna 2-0 away. The big match on Saturday, however, was Roma playing away to Atalanta. A tough match, indeed, and a match that they rose to the occasion in a big way. Tammy Abraham scored after just a minute, and Nicolo Zaniolo doubled their lead 25 minutes later. Their buzz was killed a bit on the stroke of halftime as they conceded a goal. As Mourinho said, they would have crumbled in the past when conceding at that time, but they rolled on in the second half. Jordan Veretout got his second assist of the match in setting up Chris Smaldini to make it 3-1, and Tammy grabbed a second in the 82nd minute to make it 4-1, an emphatic victory for AS Roma, and as Mourinho mentioned after the match, they finally beat a big opponent in Serie A, which they haven't done for a long while now. Dusan Vlahovic, man, he scored yet another goal, a record-equaling goal for Fiorentina. Vlahovic scored his 16th goal from his 18th appearance in Serie A this season, which equaled Cristiano Ronaldo's record for the most goals scored in Serie A in a calendar year, with 33. It took him 42 matches to do so. Not too shabby at all. In all, Fiorentina drew 2-2 with Sassuolo as Raspadori continues to excel this season. He grabbed an assist, but overall will be very disappointed given how Sassuolo gave up a 2-0 lead away to Fiorentina, only to settle on a draw. Frustrating, for sure. Over at the San Siro, Napoli were taking on AC Milan, and Napoli found themselves leading just 5 minutes into the game as Elmas beat Tonali to the ball at the back post to head past Magnan in the Milan goal. There were some calls for a handball at a few different occasions in this match, namely when Rachmani was fouled in the box, and as he was on the ground, the ball came into contact with his arm. Zlatan wanted a penalty there, wasn't given. That wasn't the only bit of our theatrics, however, as I sort of alluded to. There were moments along the way where Milan should have equalized, but at the end of the match, with Kessié lashing one in, the goal was called off for offside as Giroud was laying down in an offside position as the defender played the ball. Honestly, I think it's a bogus, ridiculous call, and saying he influenced the defender's decision to play the ball doesn't really make sense to me. It's big legitimate reasons to feel hard done by for the AC Milan supporters, as I think that should have counted, but it didn't. Very strange. Anyway, that result was huge for Napoli as they sit 4 points behind Inter Milan in the table, but level with AC Milan now. And that's all from me, guys. That's it from the Christmas tree. Looks good, doesn't it? I mean, I hope I catch you guys in another video soon. We'll have plenty of videos for you prior to Christmas. May take a couple of days off, but I have a hunger to make content, so let's keep this going prior to Christmas, all right? Thanks for watching, guys. Ciao.